adjusting the color temperature. What I'm going to be doing here is doing a review. And unfortunately for me, I have 15 minutes to shoot it and edit it. I'll probably go a little longer, maybe 15 more minutes to edit it. But I've gotten into a workflow that allows me to shoot it quickly. Right here, you can't see it, but I'm looking directly into the cameras right here. This is a cool little teleprompter from Elgato. It's a Sony camera that I have hooked up to the computer, directly into the computer, might I add, because USB-C, because HDMI, or it's actually Thunderbolt. HDMI is not, there's not enough inputs on there, and you have to buy like a little like a video converter. I forget what it's called. Screen video capture. You plug it into the camera, HDMI into the computer. But I only have one HDMI on there, and the Mac Mini's got like 4 or 5. So, anyways, I'm gonna shoot this, and I'm gonna shoot it from this angle so you see what I'm doing. And then the finished product will, it'll look like what you normally do. I'll have like, if I'm looking at you, and this is what you're gonna see on the screen, up here will be the cover of the album, and down here will be the graphic. And then I'll just be like sitting in the corner, framed up like this. And we shoot a lot of stuff in television and news that way because we know exactly, like we preview it, which is we just put the graphic on before we put it live on air, and we frame the camera up correctly, and then then we put it on live when we need it to, and we program it so that it goes from like a centered shot, and then you hit a button, right, and then it goes, but instead of me moving, the camera moves, and then the graphic goes up. It's pretty cool. It's a really old trick. Sometimes they used to have cameramen actually do it manual on screen. But now, they just kind of go, and in further news, and then they address this camera. That's how that works. And then at the same time, there's a dude, me, that's what I did, will hit between the cameras, and that'll change from this camera to this camera with one button push. So that's how a technical director works. But right now, this is recording. So I'll cut this out, the head of it, or the lead. I'll cut that out, and I'll cut off the end, and then as long as I don't fuck it up, we'll just put the whole thing on, lay the graphics down, put a little on the end, a little end screen for YouTube where you can put videos up. I usually put whatever video is best for the viewer, and then I put a playlist link directly to like Ryan's reviews for this particular one. It's a playlist, and then in the middle a subscribe. You can move it around in YouTube and line it up pretty good. I like it. It took me a very long time to understand all this shit and learn it from YouTube, but now, because I like YouTube so much, it was easier to understand the language before I started trying. So I'm gonna tilt this down so I don't look too bad. And this is the YY demos review on Bandcamp, and I'm gonna go do that now. How's that sound? All right. Oh, by the way, I put new red LED lights on the back, so that if I sit over here, if I'm looking this way, you get the blue. If I sit right here, you get the red background. So this video will look like there's a red glow behind me, which is pretty rad. That's my insulin pump beeping. All right, I gotta do this. So I'm gonna make sure I'm framed up correctly. Even though the camera is centered, I need to be in the right spot, which is called the mark. Get on your mark. When they say on your mark, that means you have to get positioned correctly. And usually there's like a spike or a piece of tape with X on the floor, so that you don't have to think about it. You just like follow the X, and it'll, on the tape, it'll usually have a magic marker or a Sharpie, and it'll say Ryan's mark or Ryan desk. And I'll know when they say go to the desk, and I'll know where to go. Really simple, but there's just, it's just the way you do it. So I'm gonna frame myself up, make sure I look good. And then I'm gonna make sure that when I do the interview, that when I reference, which is difficult for me to understand, like when I'm looking at the camera, it's on my left, like, but when I'm referencing it, everything is on the right. So it's backwards when you're looking at the prompter, when you're looking at the screen. So you kind of have to learn, hey, that's on the left side, but if you can see, I'm pointing to the right side of the screen. But so you have to do kind of everything in reverse and like flip your motions so you get the references correctly. Hopefully you understand that. If not, give me a comment and I'll explain it a little bit more. Maybe we can chat about it. How's that? All right, I'm gonna do this. Why? They're good. Listen to what I have to say. So I'll go like this. So when I'm watching, when I want to cut it, I'll know where to cut it. So I'll just go like this. That's why they hit like the clapboard in movies, so they know when they're going through to edit where to stop and cut that piece out. This is the one take. So I don't even say that shit. I just look for that and then I know which one it is. So on camera you'll see this and then I'll pause, right? I'll go like this. The YY demos on Bandcamp. What can I say? They got my attention immediately. And for a demo, it sounds really fucking good. So I was surprised. Once again, I have to give props to Hunter King from Search Reverb from doing his, his maniacal research and documentation of these bands. And thanks to him, Y is now on everybody's radar. And I want to thank Andy Gibbon for doing this hard work to be the feature band of the week. And this is airing today on Friday's Reviews for Ryan. And I'm going to talk a little bit about YY. So, what we're going to talk about is, first, the instrumentation. Great traditional surf beat. You know exactly what you're hearing from the first snap of the snare, right? You hear it immediately. And then for like a demo, I was just blown away. Like the tone of the guitar is so clean and crisp with just amount of reverb. And if you see his rig demo that we aired yesterday, is What's My Rig? He doesn't have a traditional reverb tank. What he has is a little foot pedal that allows him to kick the foot pedal that replicates springs. So he built the foot pedal and put springs inside of it, so that it's not even a reverb tank. The tank, like, there's a pedal, but he wanted to be able to kick it, so he built one and you can kick it and it sounds like you're kicking a reverb tank. It's fucking wild. And I got a lot of comments on YouTube. After you read this, give Andy a thumbs up for the music that you're hearing in the background, but then go watch What's My Rig with Andy Gibbons. Very, very, very cool setup and kind of like hands-on. And if I can't afford it or get it myself, I will fucking build it because I know what it's supposed to sound like, and it was excellent. All right, he and his wife do this team like effort to put this music together. She plays the keys, and it's kind of got a spooky vibe to it. Although they're not really spooky people, they're just average, the average Joe like me. And but the vibe is super spooky, like spy, B-movie, like old classic thrillers. It was really, 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 really cool. Like Monsters meets Addams Family, of course, like we all love that. We all grew up on it. So it's got the keys, and the keys kind of trade off between leads with the guitar. The melodies are so good. As with, when I listened to Ken Sacco the other day, his band, the Same Banks, their first release had a lot of minor changes in it, which really resonates with me. It doesn't even have to be a complicated song, but if it has that catchy major to minor change, you know, that's just, you know, music to my ears, right? So I think the same thing about this. The change between minor and major through one little part really moves well into the other part, and you know, it sounds amazing. So what I, you know, would totally suggest is checking the YY demos out. And what I thought was, you know, I had to find out what they sounded like. So I went to the Bandcamp page, because that's the link that was provided by Hunter, and I checked it out, and wouldn't you fucking know it, they put demos up. And I'm like, well, that's pretty ballsy to put your demos out before you have any other releases. And which just shows me not a level of confidence, but to say, hey, this is where we started. And our new album's coming, and you can see their natural progression. I love when a band does that. They're not afraid to show their roots and, you know, maybe their flaws when they started out. But to be quite honest with you, I see no flaws in this. And you can get it on Bandcamp. And, you know, Bandcamp is super cheap. The money goes to support the band. And as much as you support the band with that tiny, it's like a donation, but you get something in return. And you own the files. It's not like a streaming service. You get the files, put them on your computer, and they're yours for life. Put them on an external hard drive so you don't lose them. But what I'm saying is, if you support the band, they'll make more. They'll make more. They'll be able to take that money, go into a good recording studio, and make more. So the link in the Bandcamp. Go there, listen to it, support YY and Andy and his wife and team, and you won't be sorry. And then I'll just cut that out. And I really enjoyed that band, and I think you might too. They're pretty great, and one of the things I really enjoy about working with musicians and bands is that the ones that get it, that understand what I'm trying to do, like build a playlist, and then all you got to do is use the link and send it to whatever club they want to play at. And they don't even need to have a conversation. They can just watch the interview, the gear video, the review of their release, and then in the release they can go check out the whole release on Bandcamp, and then they get a rehearsal video. If a band does that, it costs them 2 videos. All they got to do is record their own rehearsal. Just set an iPhone up and do it. And then you do a rig video, set up an iPhone. Like I have this right here. And just talk into it. Show them your gear. It's really cool. I mean, you can hold things up to the camera, and people will see it. You don't have to be fancy schmancy as long as it looks good. You know, everybody's camera and their phone looks good right now. So what I suggest is checking them out, right? Check them out. This will be going on Patreon. So I want to thank our first 3 Patreon members. We got Jim Colby, Ken Sacco, I know, is in there, right? And Charlie from Furious Nakamura. And who am I forgetting? I want you to say in the comments, because I want to make sure you're paying attention. Who am I forgetting? Who am I forgetting? He's a real huge fan. Come on, we got 3. I just posted it yesterday. Comment below who I'm forgetting. I'm not forgetting it. I'm going to see if you're paying attention.